Get into it then, guys. As always, thanks for joining us and get yourself involved in the chat throughout the show. We love hearing from you, and we'll have a Q&A at the end of the show. But for now, like, subscribe, comment, get involved, and let's be having you. Right, so Manchester United transfer news. Well, let's just, first of all, hi Gungshi, you legend, get in there. Yes, lad. And Max, welcome aboard. How you doing? Let's just get into some of the stuff that Amarim sort of said yesterday, and in the build-up to this game against West Ham. Obviously, he had a press conference, said a couple of things. I just want to talk about some of the stuff in regards to transfers, really, because obviously that's what we're here for, is to discuss Manchester United's transfer window. And he was basically asked, quite extensively about sort of the plan for the transfer window, etc. And he was obviously very happy to sign the likes of Mbeumo and Cunha and these guys. But he said one really important thing is that they want to come here. That is the key point. So if during the market we can find someone that can help the team and have all the boxes with them, we are going to do it. If not, we cannot do it because it's an important time in our club, so they need to want to come here. Yeah, that's it. We don't need to force anybody to want to come to Manchester United right now by giving them a fat contract or trying to entice them via, other methods. But what we want is players like Matheus Cunha who have opportunities to play elsewhere. And obviously Mbeumo. Mbeumo is wanted by various different clubs, the likes of Spurs, the likes of Newcastle, some big clubs with European football. And he's clear that he wanted United. So these are the sorts of players we want now at the moment, the players that sort of understand the opportunity. If you saw the comments, I don't know if you heard the comments from Matheus Cunha in the press conference, but he came across brilliantly. I loved when he was asked, if he's sort of happy to join Manchester United. He was just sort of laughing, like, of course he's happy to join Manchester United. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world, and obviously, he watched them a lot growing up, etc., etc. And he said that the pressure at Manchester United is a privilege. Which I love that. Love that quote, to be fair. The pressure at Manchester United is a privilege, and that is exactly what it is, to be fair. You're playing for one of the biggest, best clubs in the world. So either you can eat that pressure and handle that pressure, or you're an absolute crapshoot. Either way, get out the club if that's the case. We need more people who want to be here and who feel like this pressure, is a privilege, such as Mr. Matheus Cunha. Great comments. Obviously, got to see how he gets on, but great comments from Matheus Cunha, isn't it? So Amarim just highlighting the fact that we need to go for the right types of players. I think there's a clear reason we've not gone for players like Osimhen or tabled a really big wage contract offer to the likes of Gyökeres, because obviously Gyökeres has gone to Arsenal now. That's what he wanted. Why try and get a player who doesn't actually really want to be at your football club? That's the thing. That's what Ruben's all about. He's saying he wants these players that want to play for Manchester United, want to be here. And that's half the battle, isn't it? And in the same token, getting rid of these melts that don't. Players like Garnacho and Sancho and these mugs that don't want to be here. Rashford, these are problem players. You need players here who want to be here and want to play for Manchester United. So I like what he was saying there. I feel like I just need to address one elephant in the room, actually, before we move on with Amarim's comments on the transfer stuff. He called Luke Shaw world class. Oh, no. Too many Frey Bentos pies have been had this summer, I think. Some influence has been had. I don't know, but no, you know what I'd say about Luke Shaw. Obviously, I don't think Luke Shaw can be considered world-class right now. But actually, at times in the past, he was on the verge. He was on the cusp. He's done some great things for England in the past. He's done some great things for Man United in the past. He's very good at getting forward, whipping crosses in, and he's been a good player for us. I mean, I wouldn't really say Luke Shaw and world-class really fit into the conversation there, unless you're talking about him being a world-class pie-eating competition winner. If that's what you're talking about, then maybe he is world-class. Do you know what I mean? For a pie-eating contest, get yourself in there, Luke. But for world-class left-back duties, I mean, I'm not so sure about that one. But look, he's obviously contracted at the football club. I don't really know what's going on. Are we trying to sell Luke Shaw? I hope so. We're probably not going to be able to sell Luke Shaw. World class, my ass. Yes, I know. Strange comment from Amarim. It was a little bit strange, but I don't really know what to make of it, really. I mean, I guess Luke Shaw's here. He's contracted for a couple of years. He is a United player. He's trying to get the best out of him, I suppose. Either that or we're trying to put him in the shop window to sell him, but that's very unlikely. Oh, here we go. Zayn Miasi getting in here. Hello, Zayn. What's going on, mate? Thank you for the super chat and support the show, though. Big up, Zayn. Get some love in there for this man. He says, Goy KS having a medical. Easy next. He spelled that one right. Gets in there. Look forward to opening day, Piggy. I look forward to the opening day as well, Zane, where we turn that smile into a pile of gash for you. Because I feel like, we can't turn up and beat you on that first day of the season. It's going to be one of those, isn't it? It's like almost like a cup final first day of the season. Anything can happen, lad. Gyökeres, I am a little bit worried about Arsenal. I'll be honest, they're obviously a lot better team than us last season. And having signed players like Gyökeres and Zubimendi and the players that they sign, I feel like, yes, they are in a sort of better placed position at the moment to have a good start to the season. But they still got to come to Old Trafford and get something, don't they? So I wouldn't count your chickens just yet, Zane. Would be just amazing if Gyökeres just absolutely has a completely quiet 90 minutes and United duff you up 3-0 or something. It can happen. Come on, United, let's smash these Arsenal Hollanders up first day of the season. That would be the perfect start to the season, wouldn't it? The perfect start. Zane Miassi with another one. He says it's clear Ruben won't last much longer when he calls Shaw world class. Which manager you want next? Fair enough, but didn't Arteta want Pepe, Nicolas Pepe? You can't get it right all the time. Anyway, I'm just... was that even Arteta? Can't remember now. But anyway, listen to me, Zane. It's a performance-based industry, isn't it? If these players aren't going to do the business, then they're not going to play. Luke Shaw, I guess, is a part of the squad. Remember Luke Shaw's sort of versatile. He can play in 4 or 5 different positions. He can play left-back, obviously the left wing-back position for us right now, I suppose. Maybe his legs are going, I don't know. But could he do that for us? Maybe. Theoretically, he could have done a few years back. Left-sided centre-back, he can definitely play that position as well. And he can play a couple of other positions for us as well. He can play physio room merchant. You know what I mean? He can just chill in the physio room like he does. He can play kitchen assistant. You know what I mean? Nobody can remove a tin off of Fray Bentos, the lid off of Fray Bentos pie tin like Luke Shaw. You know what I mean? This guy is skilled. I think that's what he was talking about. Not necessarily a world-class left-back or a footballer, but more a world-class pie tin opener. That's my personal thoughts. No, I don't know about that, to be honest. I don't know about calling Luke Shaw world-class. I don't get it either. Strange comments, but, I guess he's just trying to build his team up, build his player up, whatever, either if he's keeping him or trying to sell him. So, I don't know about that. But anyway, fair enough, Zane. It's a bit strange. I don't get that either. But let's just talk about what else Ruben Amarim said anyway. He also said that, there's a clear sort of transfer plan this summer. Which is what we've sort of seen, which is that we're going for more proven players, Premier League proven players with good stats and consistent performances. So this is sort of what Ruben Amorim said in regards to transfer update. He said what we can say to the fans is that we want players that they've proven themselves already. Sometimes you have a player with a lot of potential. You have to be aware of that. But all the players that are coming, we need to know the player. We need to talk to the player. We need to explain the project. Okay, so Amarim just reiterating the fact that there is an importance to sign a certain type of player right now. It's all well and good signing, your Højlund types or your Sesko types, but Sesko could turn out to be another Højlund. That's it. If you're signing a player who doesn't have that Premier League proven track record and just status in the game, then you are taking a little bit of a gamble. You're hoping for the best. You're hoping that they'll develop and do well. But there's no actual proven track record of them putting up good stats in the Premier League if you're signing a young player from abroad. So I think the emphasis this summer is clearly to go and sign the Premier League proven experienced players, or at least experienced players in general. Does look like we're going for Premier League proven at the moment. But yes, Mateus Cunha and Puemo, these guys fit into that. If we're talking about a new striker, Watkins, Vissa, Mateta, these guys fit into that. If we're talking about a goalkeeper, then I guess Martinez. So that seems to be the plan at the moment. I think that is the right way of going about things. To take us from where we were, 15th, to up to like 6th place, we need some players who can come in now and sort of guarantee to do well. Not players you're taking a punt on that are going to be developing and, may or may not turn out to be really good in the future. Some of these players like Sesko, if he goes to Newcastle, we might rue the day that we missed out on him. If he does go to Newcastle and he turns out to be a baller. What if he goes there and flops? Then we'll feel like we've dodged a bullet there, So it's one of those. Nobody's got a crystal ball to predict how these players are going to do, but it's quite often that players come in, especially to Manchester United from leagues abroad who are maybe younger players, and flop. I'm looking at you, Anthony Dos Gastos. I'm looking at you, Rasmus Højlund. You know, these sorts of players are certainly not proven to come in. Malacia and all these guys that we've picked up. They haven't got the Premier League proven experience, and it shows. And they never are going to be good enough for the Premier League, really, most of these players. So, yeah, there you go. The plan does seem to be going to get proven players. That's where someone like Watkins comes in, Martinez comes in. Obviously, we're looking at maybe one or two others, potentially a couple of midfielders. But that seems to be the plan of action for Amarim so far, and I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. And also, Amarim said this in regards to signing Premier League players. He said, we need experience. Matheus Cunha is young, but with experience. Yeah, so he's middle 20s, Premier League experience for years, you know, match winner for them last season, good stats, goals, assists. You know, that's the sort of profile of a player we are looking at right now. He said that was a policy we tried to use this season, so I say yes. It's not just that, they have characteristics that we need, but we buy players who can face this kind of pressure. So they're looking for players who, you know, have that Premier League proven track record. All the more reason we need to go in for someone like Visser, if you ask me. But anyway, okay, this is one thing we wanted to talk about, actually, just in regards to what he said about some of the players, which I don't like this, personally, but again, he has got to protect the position of the football club at the same time, right? It's not just as easy as saying, oh, he's a Glazer, yes, man, you know, but just in regards to Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, he was asked about these players, a.k.a. the bum squad. What would happen if they're unable to be sold, basically? If we can't sell them, what's going to happen with those players? Because it's not guaranteed you can sell them. We might be able to do loan deals, we might be able to do transfer deals, but essentially Manchester United are not going to just get bent over raw in the summer transfer window just to get these players gone. Like, there's going to have to be a deal there on the table for us that makes sense. You know, Garnacho is worth money. Sancho, we do need to get all of his wages paid for and a few million quid. You know, so this is what he said on Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, because obviously Real Betis taken a long time in their pursuit of Anthony. There's now a couple of Saudi clubs sniffing around. But again, these guys have to leave. You know, I personally think none of these guys should ever play for Manchester United again. Sancho is basically scumcho to me. One of the worst mentality players we've ever had. An awful, awful attitude. Anthony, I like his attitude, but unfortunately he has all the abilities of a one-legged pony. And then Garnacho, well, he's one of the biggest shithouses as well, with his recent ego showing to the world and his ridiculous posting of him in an Aston Villa shirt and all that guff as well. Thank you, Andrew Leby, for subscribing to the channel. Yes, Andrew. If you guys are new like Andrew Leby, give us a subscribe. Get yourself involved. Thank you, Daz Salford. Sounds top-notch today. Thank you for the feedback, you legend. How you doing, Kate Cadet? Yes, lad. Get in there, my son. Okay, so look, this is what he said in regards to the Garnacho, Sancho, Anthony situation. He said if they reach a point where they have to join the team, they will join the team because there are players. If the club doesn't get the right price, they will stay. I'm ready to receive the players. Okay, so I wouldn't read too much into this at the moment. I feel like this is just Amarim essentially saying that, look, if we can't sell these players for a fair deal, we're not going to. We're not going to get stitched up. We're not going to let this drag on all summer long and then you just get a dirt cheap deal on the last day of the transfer window. We don't want to operate like that. If you want these players, if Real Betis want Anthony, they need to table a bid, a fair bid right now. If somebody wants Sancho, if Juventus wants Sancho, then, you know, you can't just lowball us and stitch us up. You're going to have to cover his wages. You're going to have, whatever the case may be. So I think this is just really to basically reaffirm the fact that we are, or at least trying to strengthen a little bit our position in this transfer window. But essentially, I don't think Amarim wants any of these players back into the team. Of course he doesn't. I mean, he's right that they're contractually Manchester United players, but he's not really going to want to bring in these players into the squad and upset the status quo that will be happening at the time with players who actually want to be there. You know what I mean? He doesn't want Garnacho coming in there being toxic and a little spoilt little brat and having a stupid haircut around the guff, does he, when Matheus Cunha's there trying to focus on his task at hand? He doesn't need this Garnacho melt involved or this Sancho melt involved. So I actually personally think this is not the case. This is just the manager just doing a little bit of, you know, what's the word? Diplomacy maybe, but I really believe that these players will never play for Manchester United again. And even if they were unable to be sold at some point, you know, they get them off on a loan deal where their wages are covered for a year, so they're not a problem right now. You know, that's, and obviously Sancho's contract ends in a year anyway. So that is probably what's going to happen. We are going to try and sell these players. We're going to try and get rid of Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, these melts that don't want to be here, and try and, use that money to get new players. But I think Amarim's just prepared to, of the fact that these clubs out there who are looking for these players are all going to be lowballing Manchester United for a while. Yeah. But anyway, I don't think these players are going to play for us ever again, guys. Yes or no? Does Sancho and Garnacho play for us ever again? Sancho or Garnacho? Either one. Do you think either one of those players plays for us again, live chat? G Wolf, what's going on, you legend? Yes, lad, get in there. Let's have a vote, yes or no. Do either one of these players play for Manchester United ever again? Get your thoughts in there. I have to say no. If I'm sorry, I think it would be very weak management, actually, if they ever do play for Manchester United again after what's happened. I know he's got to say this. I know he might have to say this so we don't just get bent over and have it drag on all transfer summer window long. But I don't think they're ever going to play for us ever again, mate. Ever again. Interesting, Gavin Clark. Well, that'd be shit if Amarim got sacked off and Rashford came back next summer. Thornstar, I'm so sorry I missed your super chat, lad. Let's go. Thank you so much. He says, Gyökeres, sitters, Watkins, Hattie. Watch this, Zane. Come on, Thorns. I love that. I love that, mate. That's it. We've got Mbuemo, Cunha. If we have a good pre-season, we can create against the Arsenal, and I'm sure we can. If we get a good finisher as well. Yeah. So, sorry, I already read that one from Zane, didn't I? He said, which manager do you want next? I'm not even going to disrespect Amarim by even discussing that right now. Love that, Tommy Boyle. You'd make Sancho work in the gift shop. So true. I don't know why they don't have that in clauses of these contracts anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're shit, I'm sorry, but, like in some jobs, whatever the job may be, you will have to do some other jobs that you don't want to do. For instance, I've applied for a couple of jobs in the past, back in the day, and there was a couple of aspects to the job which you just are a bit shit, to be honest. Like, for instance, I remember when I applied for Domino's Pizza once back in the day, right, to be a delivery driver, part-time pizza delivery driver. Okay, I think it was, Domino's. Right, and they're like, oh, when it's not busy, you have to, like, come in the fucking kitchen and do stuff in the kitchen and, like, help make pizzas and stuff, or whatever it is. Make fucking boxes. Put boxes together, mate. Put pizza boxes together. You know what I mean? Screw that. If you're a delivery driver, you want to be fucking delivering, don't you? You don't want to be putting pizza boxes together, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's crazy. Or like when I went to this job as a van driver at Argos many years ago, there was like, oh, if it's not busy, if there are no deliveries for that hour or that time, then you'll be in the warehouse helping picking and packing. Yeah, fuck that. You know what I mean? But why don't they do this with these players? You know what I mean? Little clause in Jadon Sancho's contract. By the way, yes, we are employing you for your services as a professional footballer, but also you may be used from time to time as Doris, the tea lady's assistant pot washer. You know what I mean? And if that was the case, then we might actually get a bit of bloody value out of him. You know what I mean? Jadon Sancho. And if he doesn't want to wash pots, guess what? 2 weeks fine, mate. There you go. Wash pots for 300 grand a week, or don't, mate. But you're not going to get your 300 grand a week unless you wash those pots. Do you know what I'm saying, guys? That's what I'm saying. So, yes. Anyway, I know it's not going to happen, but... By the way, we got 239 Saturday afternoon legends in here. Yes. Come and join us for the watch along tonight, guys. Man United are going to smash up those hammers around about midnight. Do us a favour if you're just joining the stream as well. Smash that like button. We've just hit 111 likes. That's banging. Keep hitting those thumbs ups on the stream if you're just joining and help the channel out. Get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're new. We're on here daily with the latest Manchester United goings on and the latest news, so get yourself subscribed. You know it makes sense. Right, let me continue with the guff. So anyway, no, I don't think we're going to see Sancho and Garnacho. Let's see what the live chat said here. I did ask the live chat what you think is going to happen. No, they won't play for us again. No, yes. You think we get Watkins? But I think there's a good chance of it. It depends if Villa are prepared to actually play ball for a reasonable price. 45 million is about right. 60 million is way too much. We should walk away from that. Nacho does. No. Sancho, no. They won't all go. So a couple of people thinking that Garnacho plays for us again. I mean, that's interesting. Maybe as a late sub sometime, I suppose, if we're absolutely desperate. But I think it undermines what Amarim's doing, what Amarim sort of said, what Amarim, is trying to, the mentality he's trying to sort of instill in the squad. I think it kind of undermines all of that, to be fair. So I don't think he will introduce them back into the team personally. If Garnacho stays, he can say goodbye to the World Cup. That's a fair point as well. I think Amarim did say something along those lines as well, that obviously it's a World Cup year. If they want to be getting in the World Cup teams next year, then they're going to have to get their head down and play, regardless of whether they're happy or not in the current system, manager, team, whatever. So that's fair. No, please, no, ship them all out. Both will play for us, yeah. No, nine. Maybe Garnacho, yes, no. Garnacho will get us Watkins. Interesting. So you think that potential swap deal could be on the cards? Yeah, I would like that. Good riddance to these locker room leaks. If we don't get the money for Garnacho, I think we have a choice. Well, I mean, he's a good enough, young enough player that I suppose he could, if he really wanted to just like knuckle down and prove himself and show a good attitude, I suppose he could turn things around. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a young guy. Everyone deserves second chances. It's not like he's done something truly horrendous, but he's just been very disrespectful and shown his ego and obviously thinks he's a lot bigger and better than he actually is. So who wants people like that? But ultimately, if he was to have a bit of a reality check, then he could still come back from it. Think about Harry Maguire. Right, if Harry Maguire can come back from where he was, being seen as the worst captain in Manchester United's history, having a couple of stinker seasons, literally his attitude seemed to change. He got humbled. That's what happened with Harry Maguire. You know, he's getting selected in the England setup, doing well for England all the time. He even said, when asked about, you know, all of this media scrutiny and fan scrutiny of his performances, he even said at one point something along the lines of, I'm ad-libbing here, but something along the lines of, he said, yeah, but all these top managers, every single one of them plays me week in, week out. So essentially, I'm a big daddy, Billy Big Bollocks. Pretty much, that's what he said. He didn't actually say those exact words, but he said something along those lines, if you remember. And then after that, he proceeded to have, you know, captaincy stripped from him, dropped out the side, having to fight his way back in there and be more of a bit part player, and then proving himself to be a good, solid professional and somebody to be called upon, and always putting in a decent display, to be fair to the lad, right? But he had to have himself humbled. He was humbled, lad, from being this big ego slab where he thought he could do no wrong, to finally realising that, you know, his shite does smell. You know what I mean? So same goes for Alejandro Garnacho. If he was actually prepared to just apologise, you know, work hard and, you know, just dedicate himself to trying to be as good of a footballer for Manchester United as he possibly could, then I suppose there would be a way back for someone like Alejandro Garnacho, who's still so young. But as I say, ultimately, he's shown himself to be a bad attitude player, and Ruben just doesn't need that right now. He needs soldiers who are prepared to die on the hill for him, you know what I mean? Yeah, G-Will says they will, but only a few appearances here and there. Yeah, that's a fair point, you know. I suppose if and when they need him, if and when they need a player, they might call upon them if they're still at the club. Yeah, Rashford can't come back. My brain won't stand it. You would allow Garnacho back into Old Trafford. He agreed to an hour's pelting from United fans with rotten tomatoes. Love that, K-Cadet. Rotten sun-dried tomatoes, knowing you. Actually, they wouldn't be rotten, would they? You'd have eaten them all, mate, because you love a sun-dried tomato. You won't stop hanging on about them. Nice one, SCJF. Let's go, you legend. Thank you so much for your comment there. Front of house for Sancho so the public can give him shit. Love that. Yeah, well, Kate Cadet's idea of putting them in the stocks and receiving rotten vegetables to the grill is rather appealing. I must be honest, I do like that. Okay, so, you know, I don't think Sancho, Garnacho, these guys are actually going to be reintroduced into the squad. This is just Amarim basically trying to reaffirm Manchester United's stance in the transfer window that we're not just going to give these players away. If you want these players, if Chelsea wants Garnacho, you're going to have to pay 50 or 60 million. That's how it is. Or if Villa want one of these players, we're going to have to do a good swap deal with Watkins where we give you Garnacho and you give us 10 million. You know, we're not going to get bent over here. We know what our players are worth. Garnacho's worth at least 50 million and Sancho's worth a packet of cheese and onion McCoys. Do you know what I mean? The ridge ones, the double ridge ones. Anyway, so, yeah, we should be able to still get rid of these players, guys. I mean, Sancho's a problem. He just wants the world, doesn't he? Hopefully Juventus or someone can see the value in a deal there just to take him off of our hands. Garnacho, maybe I would have thought he's an easier sale personally because, well, he's young and his wages aren't too much. So, and he's a very good young player. He has got a bit of a shit attitude, but he's a very good young player. Right. Yes, there you go. Rushmano, how you doing, Rush? He says Garnacho been trying to move for a few seasons now. Well, he certainly did not look happy last season, did he? At all, throughout the entirety of the campaign. The season before, he seemed happy, but he's just some young guy breaking into Manchester United's side. I've always had this opinion of Garnacho, really, that he's an amazing young player, but he does seem to have a bit of an ego. You know what I mean? I've always thought, oh, he's just wanting to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo. He's trying to follow in Cristiano Ronaldo's footsteps. Even to the point where he's, doing the old celebration next to Ronaldo, copying him right there. You know what I mean? Like, he just wants to be Ronaldo 2.0, but he's just, like, nowhere near as good. He's more like Ronaldo 0.1. You know what I mean? By the way, little bit of a revelation in the old flop, drop, and dangle game. Gungshi, I don't know if you're still here. Let me know if you are. I won't tell this story unless you're there, because nobody else will understand. Liverpool 1-3 AC Milan. Oh, yes, mate. Come on. You'll take Garnacho. Love that. Take him. That's what I mean. Yeah, so there's a couple of players, obviously, there at Aston Villa. For Garnacho makes sense. Martinez, Watkins, these guys. And, of course, we don't have a huge amount of money to spend, so it does make sense if you could use one of our players as sort of, a make-weight for a deal there, or vice versa. So Garnacho does make a heck of a lot of sense going to Aston Villa, if you ask me. Emery would probably be a great coach for him. Aston Villa is a very good club. If he wants to stay in the Premier League, there's not going to be that many options. Liverpool, Arsenal, City, these clubs certainly are not going in for him. It's the teams such as that we've heard have an interest, maybe Chelsea, maybe, Aston Villa, the most realistic. That's if he wants to stay in the Premier League, which apparently he does. So he's going to have to go to one of those sorts of sides. Sancho will want one team where he can drink the nightclub dry. The ego has landed. I love that. Better attitude than the rest of the players with no ambition. I don't know. I mean, I think it's better to just be hard-working and try and work hard for the team and just be no nonsense, rather than making it all about you. He's obviously an individual, not a team player. If he was a team player, he would have kept his head down. He's got his rights to be unhappy about not getting selected in the Europa League final. Of course he does. But you keep it behind closed doors. You keep it between yourself and the manager. And you also take it on the chin. If that's what the manager thinks was best for the team, then you have to accept that. You don't cause waves in the media. So he's got a very bad attitude when it comes to that sort of stuff. I think he obviously wants to play. He's passionate about playing and doing well. That's good. But you've got to be professional at the same time. Yeah, not professional enough to be nowhere near Ronaldo. Yes, absolutely. We didn't even beat Leeds. Fair play to Milan. You just got married. Congratulations, Adam. That is awesome, mate. Many, many congratulations to you. Let's get some love in there for this legend. Thank you so much, Adam. Appreciate you. You can't see there being another Ronaldo. They are all robotic, tactical, soulless shites. You do more than Garnacho for £1,000 a week. Yes, Rushy says Newcastle would be a good move for him. They have low standards. Yeah, Newcastle would be an excellent move for him, wouldn't it? That's a great shout. They might actually be interested in him. You never know, because of the fact that obviously they're going to be getting a lot of money with Alexander Isak going. They are understood to be interested in Visser and one or two others, Sesko. But you just never know if he was offered to them. Maybe Eddie Howe would see value in that. We've got 128 likes. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button. Cheers, Sylvester. You don't join United for luxury. You join to carry history on your back. It's too heavy. Get out. If it's too heavy, get out. Legend. Why have we signed so many players with bad attitudes? It's become a pattern. Yeah, well, that's it. This is why Ruben Amorim has to change the culture of Manchester United. And it was never going to happen overnight. It's going to take several seasons to do that. Several windows to get all the players out that you don't want. Remember, even with Garnacho and Sancho going, there's still players here at the football club that should not be here, really. There's players like Onana. There's players like Luke Shaw. There's players like Mason Mount, Højlund. These players are not really good enough for Manchester United for various different reasons, are they? And they shouldn't be here, and it's going to take time to get rid of them. They're not going to be easily sold. They're not going anywhere, most of these players, until their contracts are up. So that's the cold reality there. It's going to take time to instill a totally different mentality and culture at this football club. You have to try and get rid of the melts. I mean, I've said it a few times in this summer window, but in Amarim's second season at Sporting, he got rid of 17 players, guys. He got rid of 17 players in his second season at Sporting there. I mean, that tells you everything, really. He's somebody that's prepared to make the change and get what he wants. It's obviously more difficult to do that at United because, well, we are kind of being a little bit left behind in the transfer window with all these other clubs that are further ahead of us having the pick of the bunch so far, and we're having to sort of, it seems, go for a slightly lesser calibre of player. Not that there's anything wrong with Cunha or Mbeumo, they're great signings, but, they're not the the £120 million Isaac sort of signings right now. You know, they're a different type of signing. But yes, okay, let's talk about this for a second, because it does obviously impact Manchester United slightly. I've said we should be going for Visser, but this is from Ben Jacobs a couple hours ago, just an update on the whole Johan Visser situation at Brentford. Now that Man United have obviously completed that Mbeumo signing, why not go in and try and negotiate for Visser? It makes a bit of sense, but Newcastle are the club that are actually going for him. I don't really get why Manchester United are not linked with him. We should be linked with this guy. We should be going in for him, but we're not. He's got that combination there with Mbeumo. He's available for not a lot of money because of his contract situation, and they're going to lose him this summer. Brentford, whether or not they want to keep him or not, they're going to lose him this summer. There's too many big clubs that are interested in him. Spurs are interested. Thomas Frank, he's got that link there. Newcastle have an interest. And in my opinion, United should have an interest in him. He's very underrated, this guy. He sort of flies under the radar a little bit. But if you actually look at his stats last season, 19 league goals. We could do a lot worse, is what I'm saying. Premier League proved he's cheap. He's dirt cheap. I don't see why we don't just pick him up. But anyway, apparently Newcastle are the team that's leading the chase at the moment. They're understood to be willing to resume talks for Johan Visser this weekend with a bid in excess of £30 million expected. Brentford prefer to keep Visser and value him at over £40 million, but player wants an exit. So this is what I'm saying. With all these top clubs that may be sniffing around Visser, Brentford are never going to be able to keep hold of him right now after losing Thomas Frank, losing a couple of key players like Norgard and Mbeumo. They're never going to be able to keep hold of Visser right now. His contract runs out in a year. So if they do want 40 million quid, they're going to have to cash in right now or risk having that one-away player on their books and then he leaves in a year for free. So I think he's definitely going to get sold this summer. Well, I say definitely. He could sign a new 5-year deal, 4-year deal at Brentford where they pay him big bucks. But it's unlikely. Brentford are in for a real shite season, guys, I believe. You know, they're in for a real shite season. They're going to be down there, tossing it out in the relegation spots, I think. I think they'll just maybe about survive, but I think they'll really be right down there this season after the Thomas Frank era. Could be wrong, but got a feeling it's going to be a struggle after losing some top players, and Visser's going to be going. So I would certainly have him. I would take him if we could, but we're not actually going in for him at the moment. Does my head in. To me, this is a perfect addition to the squad. He has that combination with Mbeumo. Then again, you know, Watkins as well does as well, you know, from many years ago. Watkins is also a great shout for the striker position. I think Watkins maybe makes the most sense from a Garnacho swap point of view. If they can do a deal there, if Aston Villa are prepared to give us a few million quid, plus Watkins for Garnacho, it solves everyone's problem, really. They're getting a good player there with bags of potential who's going to be great for years and could really do some good things for Amarim there. He is a very good young player, very talented. Just a bit of a shithouse, but a very good, talented player. And then Watkins is just sort of what we need right now. He's steady and consistent. He's never necessarily going to set the world alight. There's never going to be any Ballon d'Or nominations or anything, but he will get you 15, 16 goals consistently every single season in the Prem, which is what we need right now. We need all of our forward players to be chipping in with a lot of goals. We can't have any passengers such as Gashmas Boyland who can only score about 3 in a season. So we do need to try and sign Watkins or Visser or Mateta. Someone with that proven Premier League experience. We were talking about Amarim's plan earlier on in regards to signing those experienced players that have that ability to handle the pressure in the league. You know, Amarim said that in his presser. They're going for the type of players that have that proven experience, because that's very important right now. So you can predict more so what's going to happen. If you've got a player coming in from the different Premier League team who knows the league, then obviously they're going to take to it a lot quicker, you'd expect, than somebody such as Højlund or Anthony Dos Santos or some amount like that. Yeah, this is a massive upgrade. I agree with you. It's a massive upgrade. Yeah. Get rid of anyone who acts like a petulant child. We need men at our club, not babies who remove their Man United status off their social media. Seems like that's more important to them. Clueless idiots. Well said there, Mr. Tommy Boy. I couldn't agree more with you, lad. You'd include Dalot in that list. He has his moments, but again, just doesn't do it enough. Do you know why I like Dalot? I do. I like him. I like his attitude. He's a good lad. He is, and he's passionate, you know, and he's also quite good. I don't really get all the Dalot hate personally. He's never going to be the best player in the world. He's just a squad player for us. He's a utility squad player. He should be playing, you know, occasionally as a starter, but more often than not as a squad player off the bench, or a utility player can play left wing back, right wing back. You know, so that's really where I see him. You need these players in the squad, though. He's a good character. I really like his personality. I like what he brings to the squad. You know, it's not all just about having the best technical abilities in the world, is it? Let's be honest. Sometimes you just need some good personality, some good characters, and I believe Dalot is one of those, to be fair. You know, I haven't seen him cause any gash waves or not put in the performances or the effort levels that you'd want him to. So I don't mind Dalot personally. You're surprised nobody been in for Chris Wood? Well, because Chris Wood's just a bit of a big old slab up there, isn't he? That's a one-off freak season. Is he going to do that again? Come on. Yeah, Watkins runs the channel as well and a decent target man. Absolutely, yes. And he also is somebody that's well known for pressing well, you know. Tactical Devils, what's going on? Jarvis in the house. How you doing, lad? Welcome aboard the Bacon Express, son. What's happening? Any news on a keeper? Yeah, well, you know, obviously we had an initial sort of contact there with Aston Villa, essentially rebuffed the other day. Fabrizio Romano reporting that obviously we'd gone in for a loan move for Martinez, which obviously didn't float their boat, so there was no deal there. Obviously, United scrimping around. Lamans is, of course, another target. I think what's happening at the moment, just the situation there, it seems to be the case anyway, is that United are currently weighing up whether to go for Martinez, who's got that Premier League proven experience, but maybe is a little bit eccentric, whatever, a bit of a shithouse, whatever, or they're going to take a punt on someone who's younger, who is not proven at all in the Premier League, but looks very, very good and looks very, very full of potential that he could go on to maybe be a next stalwart of the football club, kind of like De Gea, you know, where he's going to be here for the next 10 years. Because that's what United need. We could do with the stability in the goal right now, to be fair. I hope Lamans could be that player. He looks very good. Very, very impressive stats. But again, it's the Belgian Pro League. It is a bit different. So I think what the club's just doing at the moment is they're weighing up internally whether or not to try and sign Aston Villa's Emi Martinez or whether to go for someone like Seny Lamans, who's a lot cheaper. Seny Lamans would be available for around about £17 million for a permanent transfer. That's what the reports say anyway. Obviously, you know what negotiations are like for United, so probably end up costing 25 million. But you never know. And then Martinez, well, we tried to go in on for a loan deal. I don't think Villa were ever really going to go for that. Potentially just maybe to unsettle, I don't know, but permanent transfer, maybe 30 million quid, 25 to 30 million quid is what we could expect to pay for Emiliano Martinez over at Aston Villa. So that's the situation there with the goalkeeper position, I think, anyway, is that United are just discussing who to go for, whether or not they should really make Martinez the number one, who has the Premier League proven experience, but is a bit erratic, bit eccentric, or do they go for Seny Lamans, some young gun who has great stats, but is not proven in the Prem? I mean, if we're talking about what was said by Ruben Amarim earlier on, as we were talking about, you know, in terms of his transfers, he said that the plan really is to go for proven players. So he said that what we can say to the fans is that we want players that they've proven themselves already. Sometimes you have a player with a lot of potential. You have to be aware of that. But all the players that are coming, we need to know the player. We need to talk to the player. We need to explain the project. That's not ruling out one or two youth players being signed or young players. I mean, Lamans is 23. He's not 12. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, in terms of experience, obviously Martinez is way more experienced. Martinez has been playing in the Argentina setup. He's won World Cups, Golden Gloves, the lot. Premier League proven. So if you're reading into what Amarim said there, then it makes more sense to go for Martinez. But this isn't necessarily, you know, gospel. This isn't necessarily what we're going to do across the board for every single signing. So Lamans maybe makes more sense. Plus, it also comes down to value as well. Like we talked about. So Watkins and Sesko is another example. It comes down to the value. So Watkins, if he's 45 million, he's 29, he's Premier League proven, he's consistent, he's going to be doing more for you right now than somebody like Sesko would. So Watkins makes a lot of sense for 45 million. But if Watkins is going to cost 60 million, the same as Sesko, and Sesko's only 22 and will have, you know, years at the football club longer and will actually be worth more money than he is now in 5 years, whereas Watkins will be worth zero. You know, then it becomes a point where the value of this player and the talent of this player, it's got to match up. You know what I mean? So they're not just going to sign a player like Watkins for 60 million. It doesn't add up. If we're going to get Watkins for 45 million, it makes sense. If we're going to get Sesko, then, you know, maybe it makes more sense to go for Sesko if he's not going to cost a lot more than Watkins, is what I'm saying. Same goes for this whole Lamans and Martinez situation. If Aston Villa are asking for too much money for Martinez, it makes sense we go for Seny Lamans, doesn't it? Because, yes, it's a bit more of a gamble, but ultimately, there's a value there. You can't just You can't just pay over the odds for players anymore. Man United have to try and do value deals and get good deals in. So Senny Lamans could be good. Thank you, Alf United, you legend. I appreciate you. Let's get in there, you legend. Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? Looks like Newcastle are also sniffing around Sesko there, Rushmano. So Sesko is not really being pursued too much, it seems, by Manchester United right now. It's Newcastle that have spoken to the player and tried to agree personal terms, and they're actually interested in him because of the likes of Isaac. Obviously, his situation is he wants to leave the football club. Perhaps Newcastle will bend him, give him a big 300 grand a week deal to stay. But it does look like he's pushing for a move away. And obviously, because that's happening, Newcastle are having to reassess. That's why they're interested in Visser. That's why they're interested in Sesko. These are two targets that Man United should be interested in, but we're not seemingly going in for them right now, which I don't mind if we're going for Watkins. But we have to have a clear plan, and we have to execute that plan right now, because time's marching on now, guys. This has been a bit of a shoddy window from us so far compared to other teams that have done a lot more business. We've signed a couple of good players, but it's really not enough. Tartan Scout, what's going on, you legend? Sesko, very poor at assists, Piggy. I mean, interesting. I mean, he's got his he's got his pluses, he's got his minuses. Obviously, he's very good in like the air. His record in terms of goal scoring is not prolific, but he's only young. For a youngster, it's good. You know, he has bags of potential. That's it, really. He's not really proven to the point where he'd be coming in and smashing the goals for you right now. He's got bags of potential. He's another Gyökeres type in the sense that, think about Gyökeres 5 years ago when he was 22. Gyökeres wasn't being labelled as one of the best strikers in Europe. Now he is. Now he's got the record to back it up in playing in Portugal, and he's obviously coming to the Prem. Can he do it in the Prem? We'll see. But now he's got the reputation. But 5 years ago, he was just some mug. You know what I mean? Same goes for Sesko, really. Actually, if you compare Sesko to Gyökeres 5 years, at the same age, Sesko's doing way better. So I kind of feel like progression is going to happen. Development will happen for these players. Sesko in 2 years will be a very different... Sesko in 2 years with 2 years of experience in the Prem should be a different animal to the Sesko now. You know, so... But it's you're having to play the long game a little bit there. You're kind of resigned to the fact that there may be an adaptation period. And we can't really afford that right now as a football club. We need players that can come in and slot in and do the job right now, which is where someone like Watkins makes the most sense. Where that's a fair point, Jay. We haven't got the money for Sesko. Yes, but Weivel previously obviously working with Leipzig and Salzburg, RB Salzburg as well, maybe would be able to do some sort of structured deal, possibly. We've done that with other teams, so it's possible. Kate says, if we sign Watkins today for 45 million, we'll have to spend 60 million plus in 2 or 3 years for another striker to replace him. What's the point? Sesko's available, he's 22, and he's only 70 million. Go and get him. Well, that's a fair point, you know, Kate. That you're absolutely right. In 3 years, Watkins is going to be worth basically nout. But we're not going to spend 60 million, I don't think. Well, sorry, you said 45 million. Yeah, fair enough. I see what you're saying. But your 45 million over 3 years is not really a lot if he's getting you 15 to 20 goals a season in the Prem. Sesko could come in for 60 million and take a couple of seasons to even hit the ground, really, mate. You know, he might flop altogether. He's not proven in the Prem. That's the point I'm making. It's like, yes, okay, there comes a point when the price tag makes the difference. Like, if you have to spend 60 million, if that's Villa's price tag, then you might as well get Sesko because he's a lot younger. But he may take a long time to develop. He may not ever developed into the player that you want him to. Watkins is ready now. Watkins is wise and experienced in the Prem. He's a no-nonsense, consistent goal-getter. So I know who I'd rather out of, for right now, for this season. Okay, fair enough, long-term. Obviously, Sesko's a better option. But for this season, maybe next season, you know, it has to be Watkins, mate, for me. Sesko's Van Nistelrooy 2.0, version 2. Oh, that's high praise indeed, mate. I don't see that. Sesko has a way higher ceiling. He does have a way higher ceiling. But the question is, will he ever reach that ceiling? Problem is, Sesko won't develop at United. Well, he might. He might, but he also might not. You're absolutely right. Players have come in and really struggled with the environment. Sesko won't be available in 2 years' time. Have you got a crystal ball? Is that shiny dome of yours operating as 2 job roles? Not just to encase your brain, but also to predict the future. There's Kate Cadet had. We're skink guys to superstar. Yes, we are. Yeah. After watching the Leeds game, I still think we should have sold Bruno. Where does he fit? Great question, eh? Nick Suberling, legend. How you doing? That's a great question. Well, so if you're trying to pick our strongest starting 11 right now, you have to put Cunha and Mbeumo as the 2 number 10s, don't you? Which means that where's Bruno playing? He's going to have to be playing in the midfield too as the sort of the 8, which we don't know if he can do right now. But then again, I have seen him play there for us previous games previously, and he has done some good stuff. I think he's got the ability to play a playmaking role for us in that position. He runs around like a lunatic. If he's a bit more disciplined for that role, he's going to have to be more disciplined, because we think about Bruno. In fact, I saw a heat map of Bruno the other day for his average sort of position. He's all over the bloody pitch. He needs to chill out a little bit is what he needs to do. If he's playing a number 8, or if he's playing a bit of a deeper midfield role, he's going to have to shackle himself a bit. He's going to have to be more disciplined. So I feel like he can do it for us, because he's a great, creative, intelligent player. He can play make for us. You know, I think he'll be really good at just spreading play. But yeah, it's not guaranteed yet, is it, Nick? But we've seen it a few times. I think he's done well. So we'll just have to wait and see in that regard. Just need strikers, goal bashers. We haven't got any, whoever it is. We need a goal stopper as well, don't we? Thank you, Rob. Always United, you legend. I appreciate you. Right, I'm just going to... yeah, I think Real or Barca or Bayern won't be sniffing around Sesko. Fair enough, yeah. Who's going in goal tonight? Oh, that's a great question. Probably Bay and... Heaton had a good time out last time, though, didn't he? Right, guys, I'm just going to go over and shout out everyone that's reposted us on X. Then we're going to do a rundown of what we discussed. Then we're going to get into the chat for a minute. But big ups to the legends that have reposted us on X here. Thank you so much to all you legends. Let's have a little cheeky look-see. Bobby, Sanjay, United Flying High, Aaron, Ashley Vote, The Butcher of Manchester, and Berber. Thank you so much, you legends, for sharing the show around. Right, let's get stuck into the chat for a few minutes. Remember, we are doing a cheeky little Man United watch-along tonight at midnight, so come and join us for that. But for now, smash the likes on this stream, get yourself in the chat for a few minutes, and have your say on anything we've discussed. Legends. So, obviously, Amarim signing the sort of Prem-proven players at the moment, it seems, as well. That's basically what the... Oh, I forgot to mention this, just a little funny one. Breaking, Wrexham have made an approach to sign Christian Eriksen. This was yesterday. Oh, man, what a move that would be for Wrexham, eh? What a move that would be, getting Christian Eriksen in there. Meaty stuff. Good luck to him. Great player. He'll do well there. You know what, Bayern will happily replace Kane with Sesko. Well, if they were happily going to do that, why haven't they then, Cake? Eh? Hey, comrade? Why haven't they then, lad? Tartan Scout, thank you so much for gifting out a membership, you legend. It's gone to JRA. JRA, you're now a member, lad. Thank you, Tartan Scout. I appreciate that, lad. New member of the channel there. Thanks to Tartan Scout. Thank you, lad. Appreciate you, dude. Oh, look, he's... Oh, my God, look at that. To be fair to you, lad. I mean, that's a... You know, I don't like the whole liver bird guff that you've got there, Tartan Scout. But you know what? That's a pretty sick avatar for somebody who's called Tartan Scout. For someone who's a Scottish Liverpool scummer. You've done well there. Did you make that there, Tartan Scout? That's pretty cool, mate. You know what I mean? As in, he's got the half Scotland flag, half liver bird there, but it sort of looks like the same flag. That's pretty decent, mate. I'll rate that, lad. W. Tartan, it's all okay. R.A. said Luke Shaw is World Cup. I know, I don't get that, mate. That's bizarro world, isn't it? Just got in. Hey, thank you, Aaron. Yes, there is the link to the watch-along. Thank you, Aaron. I'll pin that at the top in a minute. We're going to be on there, you know, tonight about 11:30 p.m. So you all can come and join us for that one. Yeah, we're all good. Thanks, Rob. Not too bad. Let's hope we get rid of the melters. Let's go. It is pretty good, to be fair, isn't it? Let's have another look at that real quick. Tartan Scout's got some half Scouser, half Scotland avatar there. It's quite clever. Quite clever, mate. You done well there. No worries. Made it myself, mate. Fair play to you. That's good. Here's the link for Pigs Watch Along. Oh, legend as well, the mustard. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Legend, legend. Alf says, see you at midnight. Yes, mate. Can't wait. Going to do a big watch along for it. Look, there's not really any news today from Man United. It is a slow news day. I was hoping there'd be some sort of bid action. Let's have a little look, see if there's anything happen actually during the last, 20 minutes during the show while we've been waffling. Is there anything more in regards to United? Well, there was that Rushmano said from Florian Plettenberg, just confirming that RB Leipzig have reached a verbal agreement with Brazilian striker Romelu, 23-year-olds under contract with Göztepe until 2028. They're demanding 25 to 30 mil. So it looks like they are trying to sign their new Sesko replacement. That makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? There you go. Yeah, no, there's nothing else really Man United related. It's a pretty shoddy couple of days from United. I know we got Mbeumo done, but where's the next sort of bit of movement? Where's the personal terms agreed with a Watkins type? Where's the bid going in? We certainly need to step this up. Right, anyway, let's get stuck into the live chat raw here. Nobody ever listens to poor Kate Cadet. Why would they though, lad? 2-0 England women. Come on, England. 4-2. AC Milan beat Liverpool. Get in there, Dave Lister, lad. Have some of that, smegheads. Bruno and Cassie in top form in central midfield will win you games. World class at picking passes out. Well, that's it. Can Casemiro and Bruno do that role for us, though? They're going to have to, it's going to have to, you know, be tried and tested first, isn't it? Because I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure it's got the mobility. I'm not so... We'll see. They're great players, aren't they? They're experienced as they come. Wrexham have more ambition than United. Oh, at this point, I'd rather we take a punt on someone hungry for championship than waste 70 million on another overhyped project. Yeah, good shout, lad. Here he is, Zane Miasi again. Hey, Zane, thank you for being the king of the channel. That's what it says next to your name. You've got a crown next to your name saying you're the number one. That's sickening. But anyway, he says, Piggy, will you have more meltdowns this season than the last one? Honestly, I have to say no. What do you think, guys? Yes or no? I have to say no. I don't think we'll have more meltdowns. I think we'll have a lot less, actually. We've got less games to worry about. We've got, you know, should have a better squad, hopefully. And we don't have Europe to contend with, so should be less injuries in the squad. Might, you know, really, obviously, there's a lot got to go our way. Amarim's system actually has to start working, and these new players that have come in have to do well for him. There's a lot of ifs, ands, buts, and maybes, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as last season, mate. I think we'll finish in at least the top 8, really, this season, but, you know, even in that in itself is not really a great season, but it's going to be less meltdowns for me, mate. Less meltdowns than last season, for sure. Yeah, go and get Watkins. Fair enough, Cake. But it will sort us out for a few years, though, won't it? And it's almost guaranteed to score. He's almost guaranteed to score goals, whereas something like Sesko's not, actually. Could be another Højlund. If you could sign one player from the Sir Alex Ferguson era to go into our squad now, who would it be? It's a great shout, Sean. I think right now I'd probably go for probably Roy Keane or Scholes. It's got to be one of those two. Somebody for the engine room, lad. Somebody who's just going to solve a lot of our problems in that midfield for many years. Yeah. You say about Prem Proven, I remember Fergie buying a goalkeeper from Brøndby who did pretty well. If Flamans gave you half of what Schmeichel did, that's a fair point, Mister. You're not wrong. Exactly, but you're forgetting one thing. That was the Fergie era. Man United were actually able to recruit gems back then. Now we can only recruit gash-tastic melts. You know, but we used to be able to do that all the time. It's not just Schmeichs, is it? There's a million gems that Fergie plucked out of obscurity. Not anymore, it seems. But no, fair enough. You're not wrong. If you're good enough, it doesn't really matter where you come from or how much you cost. You just got to be good enough. Pre-season opponents are spot on to evaluate Amarim's progress. Well done, Wilcox Club. West Ham, Bournemouth, Everton are stable mid-table teams. No excuses. Yeah, fair play to MB Creator, lad. Let's bash them up. Are you doing a watch-along for the England game? I am doing one for tomorrow, yes. We need Watkins to come out saying he wants United move, like what Isaac's done. I don't know. You know what? I sort of feel your thorns to right. But you know what? I don't actually like that character trait. You know what I like? I like Mbuemo's dealing of this situation. Mbuemo just didn't say boo to a goose. He just stayed quiet, professional, you know, turned up for Brentford training. But behind the scenes, he's wanting to leave United. You know, I'm sure if it dragged on to the end of the window, maybe his stance would have changed. But I like the professionalism that somebody like Mbuemo showed. You know what Isaac showed himself to be? A spoiled, money-grabbing, egotistical little fucking mercenary prat. That's what he showed himself to be. Honestly, because look where he's left his team, his supposed team. Yes, he wants paying big money, right? Okay, fine. There's ways of doing things, though. Why are you dragging this out in the media and doing this like not right at the start of the transfer window? Fair enough, if you wanted to leave, you should have announced it right at the start of the transfer window. But as soon as Liverpool come sniffing around him, you know, there you go. He's had his head turned. He wants to leave. I think that's poor. I think it's poor from Isaac. You know, I don't actually want that. I don't want that from a potential signing of ours, because that's probably going to happen to us in a few years' time. You know what I mean? That same sort of thing might happen to us. I want professional players, and I don't think something like that actually makes sense right now, personally. Even though he's great, obviously, he is, in my opinion, he seems like a mercenary now. No, you never seen Zane on an Arsenal stream. Yes, no, it'll be a chilled season. It'll be bad, but not that bad. Ineos have told Amarim make done with the squad that's 15th. Well, we've got a few more signings, but of course we need 1 or 2 more, 3 more, really. Less meltdowns, but maybe better quality meltdowns. The World Match Play Dart's been mad. They're all playing at a super high level. Amazing stuff. I haven't watched any of it, you know, actually, Mr. Mustard Lad. I'll have to check it out. He's only had 6 months in the job and he's taken over a shit show. It was going to be difficult for him to do anything out of that squad. Give him his own squad and let's see what he can do this season. Just showed the Spuds team to play Luton, Mickey Moore and Archie Gray starting. I could throw back to the 70s seeing names like that in the lineup. Nice, mate. Yeah, Mickey Moore and Archie Gray. That's class. We won't have midweek European watch-alongs. No, we won't. Yeah, that is gash, actually. What about some live dart streams later this year? You never know, Paul. Would be Scholes for me, or maybe Rooney. Buying players like buying a car, best things to go for a test drive. Michael Carrick, easy. Yeah, that's a fair shout. Very underrated. Keen or Tybee. Morning, Gaz Highlights. How you doing, you legend? Welcome aboard. Hoyland had a fantastic debut season. He had an okay debut season, yeah. United scouts should be sacked. We do miss Roy Keane in the midfield. Definitely need an upgrade. Yes, indeed. Liverpool just lost. I know they did. Get the fuck in there, my son. Is Pig Brian and Mbeumo turning up, trading at Brentford with Man United top on? Poor from Anthony at Ajax too. That's it. I don't think that's actually a good thing when a potential player is pushing for a move away so publicly like that. It shows them to be a little bit of a gash character, I think. I'd rather we didn't sign players like that personally. And Mbeumo, exactly, a proper pro. That's it. Just gets his head down, lad. Why do you teams like Brighton find gems? I know their recruitment's insane, isn't it? I know. We're just awful, lad. That's why. You don't want Watkins. We've got not the right people in charge, mate. Our scouting network, our recruitment network, it used to be one of the best in the world, and now it's far from the best in the world. Teams like Southampton and Brighton and these sorts they have much better youth recruitment than us. Imagine how more miserable our lives would be if Koeman and Mbeumo attracted us. Very true. What about Garnacho Watkins loans? What could happen, Thornton? That should be on the cards, mate. Even a loan deal, like you say, that would help us out. Are you going to do watch-alongs for the other teams in the Champions League? I probably will. I probably will do Champions League watch-alongs. Oh, what else am I going to do midweek? You know what I mean? There's only a game on once a week for United this year. I probably will do watch-alongs for the Champions League and shit like that, yeah. Behaviour is key. I don't usually. I usually just do United European games. Sometimes I watch a big game, but I probably will. Nacho have shown people the importance of preserving good culture. Gyökeres didn't show himself in a good light either. There you go, precisely. I agree with you, lad. Thank you, Daz, for putting a link to the Patreon in the chat. You can support the channel on Patreon if you want. There's the link right there. You get your name in the intro and outro. Legends. Brighton got Caicedo and Baleba back-to-back. I know, they're insane, aren't they, mate? Think about like João Pedro as well. They've just got this great ability to sign great young talents, develop them brilliantly, and then sell them for a huge amount. Kobe needs to be put into the team. Yes, definitely, mate. Definitely. Where do you think he should play, Johnny? Number 10 or number 6? Or what do you reckon's best for him? Yeah, Southampton Wolves have great recruitment, but Brighton are leading the way. They are. Right, guys, anyway, we're going to wrap up this cheeky little lunchtime live. There isn't really that much to discuss. Unfortunately, United haven't bid for anyone or gone in for Watkins or Visser. Newcastle are going for Visser right now. They've also got that interest in Sesko to replace the outgoing Isaac. Man United sniffing around, but we haven't put any concrete offers in or anything. We certainly need to try and get, a Garnacho Watkins deal done. Solves two problems at once, doesn't it, really? Yeah, nice one. Thanks, everyone, for getting in here. Big up to the members like Johnny Swan and Chappie and Disco Dave, the legends in green, for supporting the show. Thank you to all the moderators like Tommy Boyle, lad, and Aaron, and everyone who's got in here raw. Thank you so much to all the mods and all the members, and big ups to everyone in the chat like Dave and all the legends, Rob, Sean, Ronster, Tafiso, Muddy Lad, get in there, Thornster 11, you beast, Prima Italia, MB, everyone in the chat, thanks for joining us, guys. Like I say, we'll be back on for the watch along. Aaron's put the link in there right there, so please do check out the watch along. Give us a cheeky little, follow. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Get yourself involved. Smash the bell icon for notifications. Like we say, we're going to be on at about 11:30 p.m. tonight. So, please do come and join us. I'll just put it at the top of the live chat there, guys. United versus West Ham watch along. Pinned to the top of the chat. Please do check it out. Go click that link. Smash a like on it. At the end of this stream, might as well go over and smash a like on the old watch along there, because we'll be on there later, and set a reminder, and I'll see you there. What about the patrons? Oh, patron. The patrons are legends, Kate Cadets. The patrons are absolute legends. The patrons have their own special section for the outro, lad. That's how much of a set of legends they are. Such as yourself, Kate Cadet, lad. Thank you. And everybody else as well who's in here. Have a great day. Thank you so much here. Yes, I've just pinned it here, the Red Devil, so it's pinned to the top of the live chat there, mate. If you check the link at the top of the live chat or click Aaron's link there, then that will take you over to the watch along. Right, guys, that's it from me. I'll see you tonight. Look, if there's anything that jumps out before then, we will jump on for a transfer news update if there's anything big. But obviously, if not, then I may just see you for the watch along. We'll see. See what happens. That's it from me then, guys. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching. Big ups to Mustard, Daz Salford, Cake, all the mods, Gav's highlights, all these legends, and everybody else. Kickoff's midnight, Gavs. Midnight tonight. Yes, lad. Rob, Links, and everybody else. That's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching. Piggy loves you. Have a great day. Follow us on the links in the description. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much. Get in there, you beauties. Thank you so much to all the patrons here for supporting the channel on patreon.com/FlyingPigUnited. As a thank you, all you legends will be appearing on this outro list. Get in there. Once again, thank you to all the YouTube members, but one of the best ways you can support the channel is on patreon.com, so check it out. Patreon.com/FlyingPigUnited. And once again, a big thank you to all the legends that do support the channel on Patreon. Get in there.